So what's up, guys? You know, just giving you a little bit about some of the things that are going on. I'm still in Brampton, and seeing it for what it is. Being kicked out. For 3 years. You know, being kicked out for 3 years. Just so society could kind of gauge what they want to do. What that tells me is that even in the apocalypse, there's nothing there for you, right? Like basically, white women, fair skinned women, they want no part of you, right? It's easy for them to be with black males and things like that. Well, at least with your name, right? Because if a government does form, right, and there's still records, that's what it is, or that's what it's gonna be. And it's tough because it's like, you should go be a police officer so you could go get a gun so you can defend yourself, or you go get a dog. You know what I mean? But it doesn't seem like that's gonna do anything, right? And you see your faith is affected because, apparently, I guess my guess is that all the houses in Brampton are tapped. All the houses in Brampton are tapped so that in the case of an apocalypse or whatever, police can easily see which houses has what zombies or what, right? So they could basically have a coordinated assault of where to go and where not to go. All right, that's how. I guess that's the way I see it. But I guess judging it for what it is. The Europeans have their mating with the Indians, right? The Europeans are mating with the Indians. The blacks are keeping it simple. They're going with the white women, and I guess basically they're trying to say you're a liability. You're a liability because of your name, but it's like, what is that? That has nothing to do with anything, right? You know what I mean? Like, what does my name have anything to do with it, right? And then you're thinking about like, there's people that you work with that have the same name OG as you, right? So it's like, I think it's paranoia, right? It's paranoia. Right, it's paranoia. And the thing is, even with my haircut, if these people are looking at the map, it's like, you guys are probably looking at me through the walls and saying, okay, it's this, that, and the other. Right, so really, I think what it is, we're planning on, or possibly planning on suicide. But like, I think black men, they take it like, okay, he commits suicide. What is that going to mean for the government, right? That's anarchy or whatever it may be. And even, you see, the thing is, if you commit suicide, it's like, I won't be able to find God, right? Like, you won't, like, basically. And this is the thing, I probably don't want to be around individuals. Just because, let's say they're manipulating time or they're watching you through your phones or something like that. You know what I mean? And like, judging it for what it is, people are gonna try to get the name OG, or they're gonna try to get the name God. Because then you gotta think of it like this, man. Like, if his name's God, what else is he gonna do or not do? So I think the best thing to do is just, you know, at the end of it, anyone could just say, okay, look, we're not gonna do anything. Like, you know, where we could wipe this guy's systems clean, right? Like, we could wipe all his systems clean or whatever. You know what I mean? They could wipe their systems clean. And then, you know, through psychology, they could say, okay, look, we could imitate this guy's look or whatever. It's like, who knows, man? But the way I see it, they're gonna say that, you know, whatever has been with this guy, right? Like, I'm assuming all the teachers are gonna find ways to educate, you know, the young individuals, whether it be through sin or, you know, sex or whatever it may be, so that these individuals won't lose time, right? Because they're probably like, you know, if they lose their job because of whatever reason, they're going to say, you know, they're basically going to study me, like the Salvation Army and all those people that work there, you know, including, you know, Peel Police, and even your sister's dad. I think, like, at the end of it, like, it even says in the Bible, you know, it says how, let me pull it up. And even too, right? It's like, it's such a weird complex, right? It's like, the only thing you have is, you know, you could be, I guess, like, not even OJ, right? Because you're gonna say, okay, you need to play football, right? And then it goes into that game of that police game, right? But I think the streets have adopted it, and they're just like, and the Spanish have adopted it as well, right? Because, so it's like, hey, these are the parameters. You could commit suicide, and just like, let's say you just commit suicide. You know, whatever's going on with your mind, which the thing is, I think your mind is probably just bothered or it's troubled, right? Because I feel like people know, and the thing is, it puts the neighbors in jeopardy. But like, I don't know if that really matters, right? Because like, do I talk to any of these people? Does it really matter? And even now, I'm considering, like, yeah, should I what's it called? Should I take this job? Should I take this job at Fielding Environmental? I'm thinking I shouldn't, because I think it's better to just, you know, gain my education and go from there, right? Because like, if I make money and then I quit the job, because the thing is, this job is from 2 to 11, so I won't have any time. Right? And I think they're trying to keep you on the night shift, right? I think these jobs are trying to keep you on the night shift. So I think the best thing to do, because that's the thing, right? Like, if I get the job, however long but see, the thing is, if I'm at a job and then, let's say I get fired, it's going to affect my hireability, right? So I think the best thing to do is probably turn down the job Best thing to do is probably turn down the job, work on myself. I'm still getting Ontario Works. Right, I'm still getting Ontario Works. Still making a little bit of income. I could learn. You know what I mean? The only thing is nutrition, right? But I think for me, what I'd probably have to do is I'd probably have to. 'Cause this is the thing, right? This is the thing. I think because you were at the shelters in Toronto and you're making diaries of where your frame of mind was, which is like basically denouncing and not wanting to be around any person of color, creed, basically humans, bro. Just putting the parameters from like black, white, mix, biracial, Indian, possibly Asian. But I think what it is, I think it's white men, Spanish men, black men, finding ways to tap into your mind, and basically I guess they're trying to say, okay, look, we're pushing you to do better because we have all we need to, imitate your genetics, right? And because of Steph Curry's father, Del Curry, I think he's biracial, like he's mixed, he's got like, curly hair. Because of science, they could basically create their own they can basically create their own, what's it called, versions of black people now, right? Like that's what it is. They could create their own versions of black people, right? So what has happened is a side where black, Spanish men, and let's possibly say Indian men, let's just say a bunch of men, right? Just a bunch of men. They can enjoy the extinction of white people, basically, just the extinction of white people. Or it's tough to say. They could basically enjoy the extinction of like of blondes, possibly blondes, redheads, noirettes, whatever it may be, just like fair skinned individuals, right? They can enjoy the extinction of fair skinned individuals. Black men, their minds are complete because they enjoy, and you could say whatever, you could say, they could do it the legal way. They could do it the legal way and say, okay, look, we got married, we did everything on the books, right? But I think it's grown past that now. To now it's like intent, like it's intent. I think it's like cognitive murder or something like that. That's what I think it is. And even with your mind tampering, right? It's like even with your mind feeling the way that it does, I think that's just a way to say, I think that's just a way to say, um, I think it's just your eyes, right? Like I think that's what it is, right? It's just your senses. It has nothing to do with psychology. I think it's just your senses, right? I think it's just your senses. And just know that, you see, if I give the reason to say that this haircut is caused from stress, you know what's gonna happen. There's gonna be some Indian people that are gonna be like, okay, look, man, we're gonna get this hairstyle because of stress. We're gonna do this because of that. And it's like, there's not really much you could do, right? Like, there's gonna be individuals that, and you can't say it's selfish because of, the hairs are different. You know what I mean? Because then again, it's like, yo, when did these thoughts arise, right? Like, did I just think of these things? Why aren't they able to think the same things? And I know the ideas may not be connecting well enough, but that's what it could be, right? That's what it could be. You know what I mean? And let's say time travel exists. To my younger self, right? I'd say, like, focus on yourself and, I wouldn't even direct this to my younger self, but because at the end of the day, who knows if the video has gotten out to somebody else before you, right? Like, for instance, with me, when I was younger, there was this one girl in my class, whatever her name was, and I remember the hall monitor said that she died. She died, but then you met her at a restaurant, while you were ordering something. She's like a server at a restaurant. So I think it's just these false concepts that these people live around, you know, and I think it's the education system and certain individuals keeping you bound a certain way. All right. So I probably say it, not worried about that, but and I'm not gonna put God into this because you got to think there's the financial aspect of it, right? There's the financial aspect of it. But if I even mention the financial aspect of it, it's like it's not gonna go anywhere, right? Because what the truth is, the black men with dreads are going to want to be around women with hair, with lots of hair, or hair that grows faster, right? But you see, the thing is, they've caused you to cut your hair, so they could dip into your kind of resources, right? You know what I mean? I think the best thing to do is probably not even go to that job and just focus on myself. It'd be nice to gain a job right now and make some money, but the thing is, my education is important, right? And when you look at the world, right? Like I'm working on the overtime theory, and yeah, forget about U of T. Like, yeah, man, like I was inspired, but like me even trying to get to work and do things, right? It's like it's not going anywhere, right? All these people saying, they're so consumed about fighting this and the other, because the way I see it, anything I say now, the people at the Salvation Army, they probably have technology to tap into this, or probably watch you from wherever and record this stuff, right? But the thing is, they want to dip into my narrative, right? My narrative, or my language that I've created, like looking left or right, or up or down, right? They wanna dip into my narrative, and I think the community and the police want to dip into that narrative of looking up, down, or left to right, right? Because I guess from the times they've been monitoring me and watching me, and I think it's more or less to force me to be thankful, right? Force me to be like, okay, like, look, we're gonna make a situation occur where you're in danger and we have to rescue you. That way you purposely either expedite a certain amount of funds to us, or you give us some kind of emotional gratification, more or less a reason to say, okay, if I'm jealous because of, biracial or interracial, breeding or whatever it is, that, I'm leaving some kind of content for the next generation of individuals that may share my same phenotypes, to give them some guidance, right? Because they're probably like, oh, okay, Malcolm died. But the thing is, we don't want to teach them about Malcolm, right? We don't want to teach them about Malcolm, right? We never know. Malcolm could have been dealing with these things, but the thing is, they're causing these issues because Malcolm also had blue eyes or whatever. So the thing is, they're trying to say this is an issue with black people or an issue with gingers, right? As opposed to, people with blue eyes. But the thing is, if you were to talk about the mental health implications of people with blue eyes, because generally people with blue eyes, they take up government jobs, firefighting, paramedics, policing jobs, right? So usually within their generations, they deal with like, trauma or mental health issues because of all the stresses. You see, the thing is, because you were molested when you were younger, it was to kind of filter you into that, uh, that group of individuals, right? So it's dark skinned people causing you in your past to be grouped in with white people, right? So, to kind of train you into that trauma, right? Because I guess there was stresses when I was younger. I guess there was not enough biracial people or whatever. Who knows what it could have been, right? But that's what it was before, right? So, now it's become difficult for some people, right? And we're gonna show you some stuff, right? Yeah, we're gonna show you some stuff because this is what people are looking at, right? And this is how things are, and it's kind of tough because when you're dealing with like Christianity or all that other stuff, it's like I think people want to dip into that, that narrative of this is what it is, but let's just take a look here. Too bad the camera can't switch around. Give me a second. Yeah, too bad the camera can't switch around. Okay, this is the map, right? There's a lot of things, right? There is a map, right? And when you look at the map, right? There's a lot of things, right? Well, you know what? Even before I even get into that, because I think the thing is, I think people want me to explain it. So they don't have to worry about the work. But I think the major issue is that, the world's drying up. There's going to be famine. Right? People's faiths are going to be tested, right? Like Revelation's coming into fruition. Right? And the thing is, what the Bible says, hold on to what you have, so no one will steal your crown, right? It's like people have stolen all my artwork, so I'd have to start over again. So the thing is, when I start over again while the world is going to shit, it gives them more reason to mess with your thing. So really, there's not much you can or can't do, right? And even with people that have your name trying to steal, like, this is the thing. There's a guy that the SSU's name's like, his first name was Carlo at first, but now his name's Oliver. And it's like, with the movie OG, it's like, I'm pretty sure even with him, like he's into business and stuff like that, right? It's like he's probably, it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like everything, every opportunity that you could have is like, it's gone. And it's like Revelation 3, right? Revelation 3. When you check up Revelation 3, it says, and I quote, to the angel of the church in Sardis, right? These are the words of him who holds, and let me just clean the screen. It's a bit dirty. These are the words of him who holds the seven spirits. It's a little better. These are him that holds the seven spirits of God and the seven stars. I know your deeds. You have a reputation. He says, I know your deeds. All right, I know your deeds. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Wake up, strengthen what remains and is about to die. For I have found your deeds unfinished in the sight of my God. Remember, therefore, what you have heard and what you have received and heard. Hold it fast and repent. But if you do not wake up, I will come like a thief, and you will not know at what time I will come to you. Right? And, given that and I guess the theory that we're working on with, the overtime theory, there's two major heads, right? There's the African head and there's the South American head, right? So possibly it's tough. I think I'm both, like in the bigger picture. I'm it, right? Like I'm the African head, right? I'm the African head, and then but the thing it says to wake up, right? So that means at some point either the African head is what I was when I was younger, but see now I'm in a confused state because me sporting this hairstyle is saying, okay, this is what I should have been when I'm younger, because right now, if you're being watched, which you probably are, and you're listening to, um, the thing is, that's what I should have been, right? That's what I should have been. But because of your genetics and I guess the freckles, it caused you to cut your hair, or people wanted you to cut your hair, or your parents forced you to cut your hair, and then now you're the South American. So it says to wake up, strengthen the things which remain, right? That can mean anything, right? That can be in the environment. That can mean the environment. That can mean a lot of stuff, man. That can mean a lot of stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It could mean a lot of stuff.